this is Zelda from Zelda Sews, and we are working on the waistband today. Okay, I have measured my waistband. I made sure it's the measurement that I took on myself, and I have a total of 123 centimeters around my waist, which is 48 and a half inches. I measured across and from front to front, and how I did it, I walked it like putting my tape measure vertical and walked it across to make sure I had the measurement that I wrote down, that I measured, that I am supposed to have. And I do. 61. Okay. And you do that for the back as well. So I've done that. So the next step is deciding how wide I want my waistband. I want my waistband to be a 2-inch or a 5 centimeter waistband. So that looks like right there. It's not a big waistband, but it's up enough. And I was trying to decide whether I wanted to use the interfacing when I cut out my waistband on the entire lengthwise portion of the waistband or on half, because I've seen half and I've seen whole. So this time I'm just going to use it on the entire length of my waistband. And this is woven cotton iron-on heavyweight interfacing that I picked up off of Amazon. But the first thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and move my weights. And I have my larger ruler here, and you don't necessarily need these. They're great to have, but if you don't have it, your tape measure will suffice until you get something that can give you a straight line for a longer distance. Okay. So this is just some muslin that I have. I've already cut off the edge to make sure I have a straight edge. I want a 5 centimeter waistband, so I need to have it 10 centimeters plus an additional 2, so that when it is sewn together using 1 centimeter. Oh, I hope I'm not saying that wrong in the video. 1 centimeter seam allowance, that it will work. So I'm going to measure over 12 centimeters, and then I'm going to mark that down on the bottom here. And then I'm going to work my way up and mark it. And then I'll take my ruler and I will just cut off and if you don't have a rotary cutter, you can use scissors. The pin I'm using here is a friction pin. And if my rotary cutter does not go through here, I'm going to go to my scissors. I'm going to go ahead and put these away. I changed the blade, but That's still sliding, I can feel it. Okay. So I have the width. Now I need the length. The length is 123 plus about 10 centimeters. I'm going to have a little bit extra on each side so that I have enough overhang. I'm going to do an under flap on the right back side of the skirt. Okay, 133 centimeters. Cut that straight. You're supposed to cut this on the lengthwise grain. This actually was cut on the lengthwise grain. And what you do now this is 2 pieces. So this is enough for another skirt. 12. I'm going to go ahead and iron this. Okay, so now I need a piece of interfacing the length of this. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out my interfacing. Get a piece that's this length. Okay, so I have the length. Now I just need to cut off this excess here. And I think the easiest way to do is just going to fold it down and cut it 10 centimeters or 9.5 centimeters wide. I mean, yes, wide. Oops. And I'm marking these 9.5. And I'll go ahead and put the ruler here. And just to show you, you can do it with scissors also. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. All right, I'm going to go iron this to the wrong side, which for this, there's no wrong side. This is a nice weight interfacing. I like it. So the heavier weight will be great. What I'm going to do now is, since I folded this in half and I ironed it, I'm going to take one of these edges. You can serge this, but what I'm going to do, once it's down, I'm going to sew it down so you don't have to serge it. I went to get my ruler here because it has the centimeters on this. So now what you want to do, if you want to have notches in this to match the waistband to the skirt, center this and measure out the distance between the darts and mark them on the waistband. You can do that, but you do want to know where the center is, because you have an extra 10 centimeters to play with. Just gonna put a little crease there. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch this and pin this in. And put that on there. Let me get my clips. Okay, I have my clips. I'm going to go ahead and clip this around. I'm using with the right sides together. Wrong side facing up, clipping it to the right side of the skirt. Now I have my zipper all the way up here, but I don't have any metal pieces on the top, so that's fine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sew this on around here, and I will be back. Okay, I have sewn on the waistband, and what you do here, I'm going to bring the camera down here. I'm going to take this over to the iron, and I'm going to press this up. Oops, I didn't catch that. That is a good catch. I'm going to go back and sew that. But after I've done that, I'm going to press this up. Maybe 1 centimeter is not enough. Well, let me go do that real quick. Okay, back in business. I'm going to press my seam up. I'm going to press this down. I'm going to be very careful not to melt my nylon. And then I'm going to make sure I've already pressed this down. And that way I will be able to stitch in the ditch and hide my seam. And it'll be hidden. but just going to do the pressing first. Okay, since I have more inches on this side and centimeters on this side than I do on this side, I'm going to make my underlap where the piece that I was going to have this side go underneath, underlap on the back right. I'm going to actually do it now on the back left because this is a little short. I'm not sure if I'll have enough. It's short, so I'm going to do it on this side. So what I'm going to do, you see this piece right here, I'm going to take it, I'm going to pin it back, make sure it's folded, it's been pressed, so they both have their creases. So I'm going to fold this back, and then I'm going to stitch. I'm going to put a pin in this, hold on. Actually a clip. Okay, and I'm going to stitch right along here, straight on across, and then I'll be back. I just wanted to mark that for you so you can see that's where I'm going to stitch, and I'm going to turn it and put it on the machine this way and stitch straight down. That way I know that I am right straight. Okay, so I have stitched that. You want to cut off the extra, leaving about a half a centimeter or maybe almost a centimeter. And then you want to cut the corners. You're going to take this, turn it out, and you can get your pointer to pull that out. This seems to be looking good. And now I have a nice squared off corner. Not squared off, but you know what I mean. Flush. Okay. Okay, so now we're working on the other side of the waistband. So what we do here, this is the underside. This is going to be that under flap so that we'll have something underneath there to hook our latch to. So what I did, I marked up 3 centimeters from the end of this zip, or the beginning of the zip, up 3 centimeters. And what I'll do, instead of leaving this folded and flipping it back, you want to open it all the way out and flip it to the right sides together. And you want to begin right where the stitch, where you ended with the last stitch, right in here. Mark that with a pin. And you're going to stitch up to about that 3 centimeter mark, and then you're going to pivot, and then you're going to go off this way. Okay, so make sure it's all flapped open. Nothing is sticking on one another. They match up. And I have my pins this time. Just going to pin it this way. I get rid of that pin, it's melted. I bought some glass pins because I go over it with the iron. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, so I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to stitch straight down. I'm going to pivot and then come up this way. Okay, so this is sewn. You stitch from here down to here, straight across. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this. Excess here. I'm also going to trim some of this extra in here. It's not a lot, but trim the corners. And now we'll turn it inside out, and then we'll have our underflap. Use your point turner or pencil or whatever you have. Just be careful not to punch through. And there you have a nice underflap. Goes underneath there. Now I'll put the hook on there and I'll show you where I am with the waistband. I almost forgot to talk about stitching this down. Now, you can hand baste this down. Hand stitch. I'm going to stitch in a ditch, but I am going to pin it going around, making sure that my pin, it covers the other side. And I pin this way. It's just easier for me. I'm left-handed and it works. I did press this down first so that that folded edge is nice and crisp. And then I will put the hook and eye latch that I have for it. Oops. I'm just using up the remainder of my white thread. So hopefully you won't see it. I'm not that great with stitching the ditch, but you get better with time. Okay, I'm gonna go stitch this and I'll be back. Here is my skirt, and I have my shirt tucked in. I normally don't wear tucked in shirts, but I wanted you to be able to see the waistband. It's nice and snug. It's not too tight. Yes, it does show what I have, but that can all be adjusted. My waist fits. I can flare that out a little bit. I don't know if I can come closer if you can see anything. Okay. This is my waistband, and I put in a hook, an eye in the back. Here it is. Yeah. I like the colors on me. I'm actually surprised I like a white skirt. This is muslin, so I can't use this, but it's nice to know it looks nice on me. This is my first blouse I made, my first skirt. No, it's not my first skirt. I've made a couple of skirts, but they all had elastic in the waistband, but this is nothing.
You thought you were getting away without a scripture. Almost. No, no, no. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. I had to find it. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace ye are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God. Bye for now.